8. Now, returning to the subject of universal credit, this change to benefits which rolls out in Peterborough today. A Peterborough food bank is preparing to extend the number of free meals it offers people as a result of this change. Normally, people who go there get 3 vouchers for food boxes. It's reckoned to provide them with enough food for about 9 days. But organisers there are concerned that with a delay in universal credit payments of up to 6 weeks, people could go hungry. The universal credit combines 6 benefit payments into one. New claimants and people already on benefits whose circumstances change will now be applying for it. Heidi Allen is a Conservative MP for South Cambridgeshire. Morning, Heidi.
Hi there, Dotty.
So the rollout of universal credit, it has continued, hasn't it? Without changes, we still have this 6-week wait for the first payments.
That's right. I mean, the first thing I want to say, I mean, you'll know I'm fighting that, and I'm hoping we'll hear good news from the government soon. But the first thing for anybody listening who is about to go onto universal credit, don't panic. That's the most important thing, because you can get what they call an advance payment, which is a temporary loan, you can literally apply for that the same day, and you can have up to 9 months to pay that back. So I don't want anybody out there to be really, really worried.
But it does have to be paid back at some point, doesn't it? You have to budget for that.
Yeah, the good news, and the other thing that the Job Centre don't publicise terribly well, most people know it's a 6-month repayment window, but you can actually ask for a 3-month payment holiday before that starts. So you've got 3 months to sort yourself out, and by which point, of course, your proper payment should be well and truly up and running. And then you pay it back. It's not ideal, but that option is at least there, so people won't go without.
How has this system been created where people have a 6-week wait for their first payment? I mean, most people, they have to pay rent or a mortgage every single month.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what myself and a lot of us are pushing for, to get that 6-week reduced down to months. The history, universal credit's payment window is split into 3 areas. The first week is a thing called 7 waiting days. Now, traditionally, that used to be round about 3. And if you think about it, most benefits are 3 days. You don't get statutory sick pay, you don't get a sick note till after the 3rd day. So that is relatively common. But that 3 days was increased to 7 under George Osborne when he was looking very hard to save money, when our debt was very, very high. He increased that to 7. I'm hearing on pretty good assurances that 7-day wait as a minimum is going to disappear. I can't say that 100%, but I think it is, and I'm hoping we'll hear in the budget next week. After 7 days, you have 4 weeks, which is the period when people, and rightly so actually, you need to know what people's incomes are over 4 weeks to know what we need to top them up with. And then there's a week at the end, which is sort of like the admin period for the Job Centre staff to do the sums, work it out, and push the payment into your bank account. Now, I'm hoping we can reduce that final week to get the overall payment down to sort of a calendar month. That would be my ambition, and that's certainly what I and colleagues have been encouraging the government to do.
But at present in Peterborough, it's continuing apace with the 6-week wait built in, and that's without any kind of delay hitting claimants. What do you think we'll see in Peterborough over the next few months?
Well, I'm hoping, for Job Centre staff, certainly as good. You have to forgive me, I don't know the team in Peterborough, but if they're as good as my staff that I deal with in Cambridgeshire, then they will work very hard with claimants to make sure they've got all the right data and information so that the process isn't delayed because, paperwork's missing. They'll offer them advance payments on day 1. They'll let them have a 3-month payment holiday, and ultimately they'll help them. Because universal credit, this is the heartbreaking thing. It's a great system. It really is. It's just there's a few inbuilt bugs that are wrong and need fixing.
Well, they're not bugs really, Heidi. I mean, we've got a 6-week wait for your first payment, which I know I keep going on about it, but 6 weeks without income, for some people, that's enough to put them out on the streets. You also had this helpline, which was charging people something like 50 pence a minute to be calling it. These aren't bugs in the system. These are total oversights. It looks like something that's just not been thought through.
Well, it has been thought through, but perhaps not within mind of how it affects the most vulnerable people, with people that don't have a penny of savings to their name.
Well, then what's the point in that? Aren't the government meant to be looking after those people?
They are, Dotty, but if you take 2 minutes and look at my website, I've raised this in PMQs, I've raised it on the TV, I've raised it in the press. I had a meeting with the Prime Minister a couple of weeks ago, and this is why this, I'm hoping, is coming to a crescendo of us hearing some good news in the budget next week, because I agree, nobody has been fighting harder for this on the Conservative benches than I have, and I want it to change.
OK, well, we will look